Illinois Comptroller Susana Mendoza says starting February 6th, her office is going to stop helping municipalities or communities collect red light ticket fines. Now, she says this process is unfair and plain rotten. But let's talk a little bit about the involvement of her office. So let's take a look here. Since 2012, the Comptroller's office served as kind of like a middleman to help collect debts like red light tickets or court fines through withholding of state income tax refunds or other state payments. Now, Mendoza says a large and growing percentage of the funds collected in recent years has been for red light tickets, mostly from suburban communities. The Comptroller had already stopped helping the city of Chicago collect debt when she was sworn in back in 2016. Now, she says it became an issue of disparity, adding that red light cameras disproportionately affect minority and low-income drivers. Her office decision to suspend the collection of debt is not only because of an ethical issue here, it's also because there's a federal investigation into the private red light camera company, SafeSpeed, over allegations of some representatives earning heavy commissions. Now, we've reached out to SafeSpeed to see if they would like to give us a comment, but we have not heard from them yet. And in the next hour, we're going to be hearing from Comptroller Mendoza, who's going to be joining us live to talk a little bit more and discuss a little bit more. I'm live at City Hall this morning. Diana Gutierrez, The Jam. Hey, John, good morning. So Illinois Comptroller Susana Mendoza stated that starting February 6th, her office will no longer be helping municipalities pay those red light ticket fines. And with me this morning is Susana. Thank you so much for joining us. Let's talk a little bit about this because your office based their decision on both ethical and legal issues.
That's correct. We have the legal authority, first of all, to stop collecting or helping municipalities collect these revenues, but I also think it was a moral issue, right? I mean, you're talking about a system that has had plenty of time, years in fact, to reform itself, but has taken not a single initiative in that direction. And meanwhile, the communities that have been most impacted by these tickets are communities who can least afford to pay it. I mean, 22% of the tickets are issued to African-American community members, yet over 40% or about 40% of the outstanding debt falls in the African-American community. So clearly there's an inability to pay, and then when those tickets go from 100 to 200 to 300, and then the state is helping municipalities by garnishing income tax returns, it's a real hardship for people.
So municipalities can still collect debt, right? So could we see an extra charge anywhere for residents there? Is that something to worry about?
Well, some municipalities contract with debt collection agencies to begin with. What we do is we collect, and so they're not having to pay private contractors, right? But, you know, we just believe that it's the wrong thing to do. And so from a policy perspective, I think that the policy of red light cameras and the way they're implemented here in Illinois is broken. And it's also very ripe for corruption. I mean, you've got vendors now, or not so much vendors, but you have municipal employees who have said that they have collected a piece, let's say, of the pie of every ticket that's been issued because they have a side contracting deal with instead of just being a municipal employee dedicated to serving the public, they're serving their own pocketbook by collecting cash, essentially, for every red light ticket that's issued as a side contract with these vendors. I think that's so disgusting on so many levels, and it's another main reason why we have decided to move in the direction of protecting the taxpayer and letting the vendors worry about themselves with their municipalities.
Now, also one more thing that I did want to ask you. So SafeSpeed CEO, we've seen in state reports and everything like that, they actually donated some campaign money for you. Can you talk a little bit about that and just explain that relationship and what that means moving forward?
Sure. I mean, look, I'm an elected official, so of course I get campaign contributions, right? But I think it's clear to notice here that clearly campaign contributions have zero impact on my decision-making or on how I execute public policy. And most importantly, the only thing that campaign contributions guarantee a donor is good government. This is an example of that, and that's how it should be, you know. But at the end of the day, my concern is always going to be on doing the right thing. You can't put a price on doing the right thing, and we're going to continue to do the right thing for taxpayers here in Illinois.
Absolutely, Susana. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for your time.
Thank
of course, there's going to be more stories coming out of this, so we'll keep you updated as more comes out in the information. But of course, we're live here downtown this morning. Diana Gutierrez, The Jam.